Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, thank you for tuning in. And if you clicked on this video, I'm sure you know what this is about. I recently tore my ACL and I want to talk to you about my recovery journey so far. I've been 2 months post-surgery and I just want to give a little knowledge and insight on what that looks like for people who are about to go through ACL surgery or who already have. So enjoy the video. So like I said, I am 2 months post ACL surgery. I actually tore the ACL about 6 months ago. Didn't even know till like 2 months after if it was I knew it was injured and I knew that there was something wrong, but I didn't know to what extent the injury was. I fight professionally and training can oftentimes get pretty intense, especially with the wrestling and the grappling, which is how I injured it. I was doing some jiu-jitsu and had a lot of tension in the knee and I was resisting in a lot of ways, and eventually something had to give, which ended up being my ACL. Now, before we get too deep into this, I just want to ease your mind as the viewer and let you know that everybody's journey through ACL surgery and ACL recovery is their own. I made the mistake of watching other people's recovery videos and kind of comparing myself to them, but in all reality, everyone's journey is different, and as long as we're healing and on the road to recovery and feeling our best again, that's what's important. So my progression might be different from your progression, and your progression might be different from the next person's as well. Like I said, everyone's journey through this is a little different. I just want to give knowledge on the things I wish I would have done beforehand and the things I'm doing now to kind of speed up the recovery. In that 4 months leading up to the surgery, I was doing a lot of training, a lot of grappling still. I was wrestling, I was doing jiu-jitsu, I was striking, which I probably wouldn't recommend at this point. If I were to do it differently, I would do it a little differently. I would do more weight training, more muscle building in that area, specifically because after the surgery you're going to have a lot of muscular atrophy because you're not going to be able to use those muscles to the extent that you were. So it's important to just build that area, build that strength in that area, so it kind of preps your body and that leg to go into surgery and makes the healing process, the recovery process, a little better. Week 1 was probably the most difficult. That's when I felt the most pain in that area. You're not able to do much. The doctors say to move it frequently so that you don't get blood clots, which I was doing. I was moving my foot a lot to get blood flowing into there, and then I was getting up on my crutches as much as I could just to be moving around and not stay still in one spot throughout the day. So it's important to move around. It's important to move the foot, get flexion in the foot, and also get up on those crutches, move throughout the house in your day. Even if it's something you don't want to do, you got to do it. So for me, and this might be different for other people, but I started physical therapy 5 days after my operation, my surgery. And in the beginning, it was just very simple exercises, trying to get more flexion in the leg, pulling the heel back towards the butt, using it. I actually got on the bike for a little bit, but I wasn't even doing full rotations with the pedals. I was just going up as far as I could and then in reverse as far as I could. I also was on the stem to kind of help engagement in those thigh muscles because your body hasn't used them. It's kind of in shock. The leg is in shock from the surgery that just happened. So you're not going to be used or even able to use those muscles quite as well. So they use the stem to kind of engage them and get the muscles working again without you having to flex them as much and put yourself through that pain. Going into that 2-week mark was kind of when I was weaning off the crutches, and for some people this might be different. I've heard some people stop using the crutches after 3 days and they start walking. For me, I was on the crutches for about a week, and then I was using one crutch for another week, and then I was walking with just the brace, which was super exciting moment for me. Now, I highly recommend staying as disciplined as you possibly can with the physical therapy, doing it as much as it's recommended throughout the day, every single day. This is just going to help speed up the recovery process and also take away that chance of building up scar tissue, which will happen, but relieving it as much as possible with the motions and the therapy and the exercises that they ask you to do. And in this journey, just embrace those small victories, those things like getting to do a new exercise or getting a couple more degrees in bend with your leg, and all those things that you can take with you that are kind of going to help your mindset going through this. Those small victories go a long way, and embrace them. And in that 2-month mark, I finally got to do a little martial arts. I was able to throw on the gloves and do a little boxing workout, which, like I said, was one of those small victories for me that it's just going to help propel me through this long process. It's not easy by any means. Embracing those things, embracing the things you're able to do, every new step you're able to take, it's going to take you a long way. Like I said, everyone's journey is different. Your journey is going to be different from mine and everybody else's as well. There's going to be similarities, and there's things that you can look on and look forward to and gain knowledge from watching other people, but don't compare yourself. I had a problem with that in the beginning. I was comparing myself, saying, oh, this person's walking now. Why am I not walking? Why am I not off the crutches? Stay grounded and understand that everyone's journey is their own. I was lucky. My girlfriend kind of snapped me out of it and told me just, hey, this process is yours. It's nobody else's. Go through it. Stay disciplined. And the recovery's gonna happen as long as you do the things that are necessary to help. The last thing that I wanted to go over, which has been super important these past 2 months after surgery, has just been my nutrition. Keeping the nutrition just as disciplined as your physical therapy. It should be an everyday thing. Avoid foods that are going to be inflammatory and build up swelling in that knee area, and are also just going to extend that healing process longer than you'd like. For me, on top of just keeping a strong regimen with my nutrition, I've also been adding heart and soil supplements, which are desiccated organs, taking the necessary and clean supplements that you think are going to help benefit and expedite that recovery process. Do the necessary things, but do the clean things, do the healthy things that are not gonna put a wrench in that work. And I gotta say, those things have helped me a lot. On top of this, it's just important to keep your workout routine. You're not gonna be able to use that leg as much outside of what your physical therapist recommends and what you can do, but keep a routine of physical activity. Especially for me, being a pro MMA fighter, it was super important for my mind and for my body to just keep up with that. Keep going to the gym, doing what I can with my upper body, doing what I can with my opposite leg, as well as doing the physical therapy every day. Keeping the physical exercise a part of your daily routine, especially if you're an athlete, a professional athlete, an athlete of any caliber really. Keep that physical activity going just to help your mind and your body get through this process. It's a tough process, and I applaud everyone going through it and going through it with a strong will. I just recommend keeping a strong mentality through this and realizing that everything comes with benefits, even if at first we don't feel like that's the case. For me, this has sort of been a blessing in disguise, and it's opened my mind to a lot of possibilities and a lot more things to do. I was actually listening to a Jocko Willink podcast a while back, and one thing that really stood out to me was he was talking about these injuries and things that can happen in life, and how there's always a good that can come from it. Like, just believing that to every bad thing that happens, or what initially seems like a bad thing, there's something that you can take away from it, or something more you can do because of it. He talks about and says, if you get injured, good. It gives you more time to read that book you've been wanting to finish, or write in the journal more often than you have been, or taking your girlfriend on a date that you've been planning for a while but haven't gotten the time to do it because you've been so focused on these other things. He talks about just taking the good from what initially seems like a bad situation and making the most of it. There's always more to do. If there's one thing I've taken from this process, it's that there's more to do, and there's always something more outside of, for me, just training in martial arts and becoming a better athlete. And that doesn't have to stop either. I'm continuing to watch and learn and study martial arts, grappling, wrestling, striking. It doesn't have to be one thing or the other. You can actually continue learning and getting better from just watching, or going to the class and watching these people teach, and doing what you can in the time you can do it, right? Taking the steps back to the beginning, taking those little victories in every which way you can, and just looking at it in a bright light, even though there's going to be tough times, trying to get yourself back into that positive mindset throughout this process. And that's pretty much it. I'll end by saying, again, your journey is your journey and it's nobody else's, and trust in your process. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm going to continue to go over my ACL recovery journey from the beginning, this video, up until I'm able to step back into the cage. So I appreciate y'all watching, and I hope you tune in for more.